Well, I watched two films last week and I have some thoughts. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel guys, and I will be sharing my thoughts on the two films that I watched last week. One is the Hindi film Tu Jhoothi Main Makkar, directed by Love Ranjan, and the second one is the Malayalam film Thuramukham, directed by Rajiv Ravi. Now starting with the former, Tu Jhoothi Main Makkar is a movie that I loved in parts, but I also couldn't bear it in parts. Concept and story wise, I actually liked the film and what it was trying to stand for. But to get to that point, one has to go through a lot of annoying parts. To be honest, this movie had the potential to become a great rom-com. Unfortunately, in some portions, the film just does not work for me. The first half of the film, which is the typical girl meets boy on a beautiful destination, is handled poorly. The introduction of the hero as well as the heroine, they are really beautifully done. The part where they fall in love is filled with unnecessary monologues after monologues, which we are supposed to find funny. I get that the monologue scene is a Love Ranjan staple, but it is funny and iconic when it happens only once in the film. That's why as an audience we wait for that one monologue scene, because that is the USP of a Love Ranjan film. But excess of anything is not good. As mentioned before, Ranbir Kapoor has monologues after monologues after monologues, which honestly will start giving one a headache. Chemistry wise, Ranbir and Shraddha look amazing on screen. The outfits, the location, all of it is great. So the entire movie pre-interval, at least personally for me, the songs and the few scenes with the family, they were the saviors. Post-interval, the movie actually becomes enjoyable, where both the protagonists are trying to play off each other and the family gets involved. The highlight of this film is the ending climax, which is like 20 to 25 minutes. And yes, there are certain moments there also which are a little bit over the top, but I personally enjoyed it a lot. The underlying message that the movie tries to give about modern relationships and family values is quite endearing. Coming to technical aspects, the film is a stunner. As I said before, the locations, the set designs, costume, lighting, cinematography, color grading is all executed really well. Performance-wise, the actors did well. They were all decent, but specifically, I liked Dimple Kapadia a lot and also Ranbir Kapoor. In fact, Ranbir was amazing in emotional scenes, which is actually his biggest strength. Rest actors like Shraddha Kapoor, the little girl, I don't know her name, but she was also amazing. Basi, he was okay. I wouldn't say anything very unique or great, but he was just about okay. One of the biggest strengths of this film is its album. The songs are amazing and Preetham needs to be given the due credit here. I liked all the compositions. The playback singing was great. The instrumentals were amazing. Also visually how the songs were shot, the cinematography, lighting, costumes, everything worked for me. Now talking about Love Ranjan's direction, for me this is his weakest film. His previous films like Pyar Ka Panchnama 1 and 2, Sonu Ki Titu Ki Sweetie, as well as Akashvani, for me those are all superior films. And the reason is that for me those movies never lagged. Yes, I might have agreed or disagreed with certain aspects in those films, but it never lagged for me. But in this film there were certain sequences where I was waiting for it to get over and move on to the next scene. Like especially I felt that in the first half of the film. So yes, even though the climax is the saving grace of this film, you need a lot of patience to get to that point. So you gotta decide if it's worth your time or not. Yes, I know, because there's a lot of hype surrounding this film. It will become a box office hit, and good for Bollywood because they surely do need it. But for me personally, this will just remain an average film and a complete missed opportunity, because I truly feel that this could have been a really well executed story. But that's just my opinion. I'm sure there are a lot of people who have loved the film. So if you've watched it, do share your thoughts in the comments. The next film I watched is Thuramukham, directed by Rajiv Ravi, and ever since I had watched its first look, I had been intrigued and was waiting for its release. And not just because of its stellar star cast, but also because it is based on a real incident that happened in Mattancherry in 1953, where few workers who were protesting against the Chappa system had to pay with their lives. The film is a very important depiction of a very sad part of our country's history. history. The movie has been presented to us in form of a historical period drama, and I have to be very honest, it is not everybody's cup of tea. But before I explain why is it so, I want to touch upon the technical aspects first because they are just legit chef's kiss. Starting with the cinematography, I only have to say that it is exquisite. The black and white frames just stole my heart. How wonderfully were the frames captured, and especially with the lighting. Even the ending climax with the whole protest was beautifully shot. The BGM also is very unique of this film. It has this minimalistic approach where you can hear probably just one or two instruments. There is this understated beauty to the BGM of this film, and in fact the whole narrative of the entire story is very restrained. Now, especially editing wise, I feel that a lot of people might have mixed thoughts, which brings me back to my point that why this is not everyone's cup of tea. Firstly, the movie is almost 3 hours long, which is not really a problem in itself, but all the setting up of the context takes its own sweet time, and there is a lot of context setting. I understand that Rajiv Ravi wanted to do maximum justice in depicting the character's plight, but personally for me, in some places he failed to hold my attention, and I could feel the strain of the length of this film. And this is coming from someone who loves slow burn films in general. The directional route was interesting for me because a story like this had so many moments that could be depicted in a more dramatic way, but Rajiv Ravi chose not to do it. Everything about the narrative feels so real, but it could prove a double-edged sword for this particular film. And I say this because you will either be in awe of it or will be like, okay, this is fine, but he could have also written a more tight script without losing the actual essence. So let me know, for those who have watched the film, what exactly did you feel? The movie boasts of an epic star cast, and each and every performance is certified platinum. I know that Naveen as Moidu is the lead of the film, but for me it was Arjun Ashokan as Hamza and Purnima Indrajit as the mother of Moidu and Hamza. They both were the show stealers. In fact, I think Arjun Ashokan had more screen time than Naveen. I could be wrong, but I totally felt that. The rest of the cast also, be it Darshana, Nimisha, Indrajit, Joju George, Sudev Nair, all of them aced their performance. I loved how this movie kind of subverted my expectation, because I thought that, okay, after Joju George, who plays Memu, Moidu will be an extension of his personality, but he was the total opposite. And in fact, it was Hamza who was extension of Memu's personality. Not in terms of physical strength, but in terms of what they stood for. And for a character like Moidu, one would think that, okay, he will go through a typical redemption arc and will come out triumphant on the other side. But by the time that happens, it's already too late. The silent suffering of the female characters also is depicted beautifully, and your heart really goes out for each and every one of them, especially the mother. And with all the characters, you would see that the way they are expressing themselves, it's not very loud. Even though they're feeling heavy emotions, it's always so restrained. That's a very difficult thing to do, and I feel all of the actors did a fabulous job. So yes, this is a film which is beautifully made. In the technical department, it has aged completely, but somewhere it could not emotionally connect with me, where I actually feel the plight of the workers fully. I did feel that in the beginning when Jojo George's arc was happening. Somehow in the course of watching the film, it fizzled out. And for me, I attribute that mostly to the edit. But I would definitely like to know your thoughts in the comments below. And yes, those were my thoughts on the two films, Tu Jhoothi Main Makkar and Thuramukham. Share your thoughts, and I'm gonna sign off from this video now. Hope you guys enjoyed watching this review, and I will see you soon now on my next video. Bye!